Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Alexandra and friends. Thank you so much for being here May 3rd. We really appreciate your coming on board and meeting us the first and last Saturday of every month. We are at the meeting place at 13612 Midway Road, number 601 in Farmers Branch. We'd love to invite you. We have a great amount of people here today. We really love you to be here. It's amazing. It's fun and not at all. But we are very, very grateful to Mr. Rob Bliss for sponsoring our
thanks,
show
Rob.
every month for the last 2 years. And
Yes.
we're just so excited. Good morning, Miss.
Good morning, good morning,
Miss-
good morning to
no,
you.
wait a minute. What is it that they used to call you?
They still call me
What is it?
Shelly Dobo.
Shelly Dobo, Miss Shelly Dobo.
Hello,
my gosh, Miss
everybody.
Shelly Dobo.
Yes,
Marshall.
hi, Miss
I never been able
Alexandra.
to say Shelly Dobo. I always said Dubu.
Oh, yeah. Michael said, no. Hi, Michael.
Good
Yes,
morning. Thank
good
you so
morning.
much. We are live, and we have a great guest today.
Yes.
And our co-host, Elena Glassman, is not here today.
Yes.
She is making visits somewhere else today. So we appreciate her. We miss her already.
Yes, already.
But
Already.
we have a great crew of people here this morning.
Oh, yes, it looks great out here this morning.
So let's take just a second for the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll be right back.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wow. Thank you so much. I love to start our morning with prayer and with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, yes.
So,
Very important.
Marshall, what do you think? Should we start introducing this handsome man we have here with us?
I tell you what, we have so much to hear from this gentleman. I think is wise to start so we can see what's going on from what he's been doing and what he's doing now currently. Yeah, so let's do it.
Well, I'm going to bring something up right now
Okay.
because I had yesterday somebody sent me a little message said,
Uh-huh.
what we love about your podcast, it's not it's a family. You
It's a
sit
family
around, it's a
affair.
family affair.
Yeah.
And you talk about things that we didn't even know about some people. He says, but you treat people like you're in a home, you're in your
Yes.
house, you're in
Yes.
your living room, and you sort of become a family. He says, and I think your guests are family too. I said, well, I don't know, sometimes. But this is what I love is that we're sitting here, we're going to have a conversation that people are going to enjoy because we're going to know secrets we've never known about this young man.
I don't think they secrets. I think they reality.
Oh, well then.
So we're
take-
gonna just learn more
about him.
Yes. You know, so
Well-
sometimes we got to do things in secret
Well,
so they can become
live.
Sit.
Well, we're welcome to be
Yeah.
here today. Thank you so very much. Well, Michelle, take it on. Let's see what we got here.
Well, I read some interesting things.
Well,
The Lion of the Year.
the Lion of the Year.
The Lion.
Wow.
TEDx speaker, Toastmaster expert. I don't know what that is, but he's going to let us know. Award-winning motivational speaker. Youth. He deals with the youth as well.
Well, he's young.
Business coach. He's a published author of Proven Pathways, Wealth and Happiness.
Wow.
He's also a financial advisor, husband, father, grandfather,
Oh my gosh.
most of all, a believer. And the youth of the day call him Be the Victor. I said, Be the Victor? Okay. I said to myself when I was reading about him, I said, wow. I met this gentleman online, me and my daughter, when we had like a webinar. And he introduced his company and I introduced my company. But when I read up on him recently, I wasn't aware of all the great things that he has been doing in the community-wise. Even also supporting his wife because she is a real estate agent. So he also helps her as well make her dreams come true. And I love that about this man that I call the servant, who wears the coat of many colors.
Wow.
I like that.
Introducing and welcome Alexandra and friends, listeners, and our guests, Mr. Victor Vonico Johnson.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome,
thank you,
welcome,
thank you.
welcome. We're so
Wow.
glad that you're here
Thank you.
today because of the many things that you do in the community. And I'm just going to start off with a small thing so you could just take the journey with
Okay.
us. So you are from your home where you was raised, born. Can you tell me that first?
Yes, yes. Well, thank you, first of all, for a great introduction, Alexandra,
Yes.
Marshall. This has
Yes.
been great. My dad would want me and my mom would want me to introduce my middle name as Vonico. So
Vonico.
just so you know, yes,
Thank
Vonico,
you.
yes.
I tried.
It's all good. I've heard 17 different ways of that name, so
Thank
don't
you
worry
for the
about it.
correction.
But I was born and raised in San Francisco, California.
Okay.
And I was kind of grew up in the Bay Area, Oakland, Richmond, El Cerrito. So to all my Bay Area folks, West Side, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, where my dad was a little bit later on in life. So graduated high school, went to
Okay.
college, and from there, did my thing, raised a family, started off in Atlanta doing quite a bit of things, running call centers and just doing all kinds of things, just developing the person who I've become, right? And in 2013, I accepted a job that moved me to Austin, Texas. So I used to run call centers. I've managed teams of 175 different collectors or agents, sales agents, and a job moved me from Atlanta, Georgia to Austin, Texas in 2013. I loved it, but I could not wait to get to Dallas because
Yes.
it's just such a more diverse
Right.
community. So in 2017, my wife and I, we moved to Dallas, and I kind of reinvented myself
Oh, yeah, I've
around
seen
that
that.
time in 2018, and we
Yes.
can dig into more, but that's when I released the book, Proven Pathways to Wealth and Happiness. We got involved with some real estate investing and did quite a bit of things on that end. But I don't want to steal the thunder from some of your questions, but today I work for a regional bank here. I won't mention the name of the bank on this show, but
Okay.
my focus is homeownership, especially in the Black
Yes,
communities
yes.
of Dallas, Fort Worth, and East
Yes.
Texas. I do a lot of work on financial literacy. I'm a consultant with Carrollton Farmers Branch Independent School District, so I mentor
awesome.
young people in the school district. And I'm on quite a few boards. I like to serve. So those are the things I'm doing right now.
Yes, Alexandra,
Wow.
I can go forever. You
I'm
have
so
something to
excited.
say?
Yeah.
Well, I bank at your bank, so
There you go.
know
Thank
you
you.
can
Yeah.
name it, and because
Okay,
there's,
well,
there's
Prosperity
there's-
Bank, there we go.
yes,
Yeah.
I mean, what is the name of your bank?
Prosperity Bank.
Prosperity Bank.
Prosperity.
Very, very
Yes.
wonderful bank. I'm very excited. Well, I had the honor of meeting Victor through the Mentor Crest Chamber,
Yes.
and through many other actions, and I thought he was the most amazing young man I've ever met. Because nowadays, you always think about who's going to be leading our country. You know, people like him. That we
Wow.
need more younger people. And he reminded me a little bit of our young people that came from the
Yes, from
the
Bishop,
university,
from the college.
college,
Paul
yes.
Quinn. Yeah,
Paul
Quinn
Quinn.
Quinn
Thank you.
College.
Paul Quinn.
And I thought, oh my gosh,
Yes.
this is going to be an amazing.
I wish
guest.
I was that young, but yes,
Well,
I appreciate it.
Well,
Thank
you're
you.
young.
But we just appreciate what you're doing
young
for the
and
young.
famous,
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Okay, so
Yes.
you're young and famous.
Yes.
So the last time I heard him speak was at the prayer meeting.
Yes.
Was it 2 years ago, right?
I was, yes.
And I was so impressed how he came across. He delivered the message from his heart.
Yes.
And he
that's
prayed
good.
from his heart. He and Bobby Mitchell.
Hmm.
I remember it was one of the best attended, one of the most beautiful prayer meetings that I've ever been to.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of mentioned him to you, and then you became friends on LinkedIn, I believe.
No, I met him through the webinar.
Yeah.
To the-
That's
oh
how,
my gosh.
yes.
Yep. So-
you had mentioned him to me
Yes,
before.
yes.
Wow.
And when you told me, oh, Victor's, I was like, oh.
I
What
know,
an
it was so
amazing
funny.
thing.
It
It's
was
such
like-
an amazing thing. Well,
Thank
Victor, I'm going to ask you one question. What are you going to do when you grow up?
That's Miss Alexandra's favorite question.
When I
That's
grow
the
up,
beginning.
you know, I'm still following God's plan. You know, right now
That's-
I've been called to serve and take some of the knowledge that I have acquired through the years and pour it back for sure into the younger generation
Yes,
so that
so
they can
very
do
good.
well. I would love to be able to continue to serve in some capacity. I enjoy financial literacy and teaching people about real estate and the power of real estate in your life. And I enjoy speaking. And I have recently started a speaker academy, Be the Victor Speaker Academy. So I would love to continue to get out and
Oh,
do my
that's
speaking
wonderful.
thing and help other people become great speakers.
So for the kids of the youth of today, what's the ages that you are mentoring to?
I started in middle school, so 7th and
Okay.
8th graders all the way up through really college age students. But for CFB ISD, it is 7th and 8th graders as well as the high school.
Wonderful. What is
Yeah.
the challenges you think that we're facing today, a reference to our kids locally of trying to expand their self to who they want to be? What is the guidance that you are giving these children for the worth that they need?
For sure. Well, not just this generation, but all generations. We kind of need to have somebody who can teach you about character and integrity and
Thank
how to
you.
shake hands and how to look people in their eyes and how to, manage your
Values.
money and how to build great relationships, not build them, but cultivate great
Yes.
relationships. And so we spend a lot of time teaching young people about decision making, how to take a moment to really think about the impact
Right.
of your decisions.
Right.
And most time your decision has ripple effects in
Yes.
your life. And it impacts not only you, but the people around you. And even some people that you don't even know can be impacted negatively by decisions that you make. And so
That's
we spend
right.
a lot of time
Good.
helping them think through scenarios. We do a lot of life planning type
Planning.
of things. So, hey, how would you handle this situation if you were confronted? And they're dealing with peer pressure as always.
Right.
But one of the newer challenges that young people are facing is obviously you have the internet and you have
That's
access
right.
to tons of information right at your fingertips. And if people aren't helping them navigate what's good information, what's bad,
bad
they
information.
could easily be sucked down into a very, very negative life
Agreed.
cycle. So we talk a lot about those type of things. And actually, I learn a lot from them
I do
because
too.
they're showing me technology and
I do
different
too.
things that they're dealing with, and we kind of blend those worlds
those
so that we
worlds
can all
together.
benefit.
Yes, because it's wonderful how I deal with the children as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think once I bring in what I feel, reference what goes on out here, and then they come to me with something, I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
what make you think that's okay to do?
Absolutely.
Right?
Right.
So
Absolutely.
we have to make sure we place the right direction in them.
Yes. Yes.
Of what they're concerned about.
Absolutely.
So I really love doing that as well. Thank
Yeah,
you for doing
absolutely.
Thank you for
Yeah.
doing that. You're listening to Alexandra and Friends. That we are at the meeting place in Farmers Branch. You can find us on alexandraandfriends.com or on Facebook, Alexandra and Friends, on YouTube, or any social media that you actually use. Thank you so much for being here, Victor. But I want to know about your middle name.
Ah,
I
Yes.
thought first you were Italian, then I thought you were Greek, then I thought you were French, then I said maybe he's Latino, maybe, so I want to know, and I want to know a little bit about your parents because,
Yes.
I hate to say this, but the values of the children, you can see them by the values of their parents.
oh, wow. Yeah.
The
absolutely.
parents are the values of the children.
Yes.
And it's like a dollar bill. You have a dollar bill and you can always say, I've got a dollar, and then the value of that dollar is a dollar, right?
That's right, right.
So I always look at, so I have to say that you have amazing parents.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And I don't often get asked about my parents, so I
Well,
really appreciate that
I'm,
question,
I'm
Alexandra.
about, if you don't have parents that value you, unfortunately, your value will never be what.
Absolutely.
That's where we started.
Yeah.
That's where our country has gone downhill.
Yeah, no, I
You know,
totally agree.
and I'm being very blunt because that's
Yes.
where we are. If we don't have the values at home, the children do not know what that
For
is, and they
sure,
cannot
for
introduce them to somebody else.
1,000%.
So I
Yeah.
want to know all
correct on
about
that.
your
Really
mother,
true.
especially.
So first, I'll tell you about my name, Vonico. The
Vonico.
middle name,
Vonico.
Victor Vonico Johnson. So Vonico, my dad is still a great reader. He loves to read, a voracious reader, and that's why I love being at the meeting place. Rob's got all these books, but
yes,
Vonico
and we have a
is-
library card for you too.
Oh, well, thank you
Right?
so much. Yeah. So Vonico is actually chopped off of a name from Este Vonico. And Este Vonico was a African Spaniard explorer,
Explorer.
during
All
the
right.
Lewis and Clark expedition.
yes.
And he helped discover New Mexico, Arizona,
Yes.
that part of the country. And my mom's name is Valerie. My dad's name is Ernest Victor. So they had the
Okay,
V's
Ernest.
going. And so
Okay.
he wanted the V in my name. So Victor Vonico. He
Vonico.
just pulled that together. And as a
Okay.
kid, I hated it because nobody could pronounce it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But as I got
Yeah.
older, some of the ladies used to love it as I was in my,
Watch out,
my
watch
late
out.
teens
Watch
and early
out.
20s, before I
Watch
got
out.
married.
Watch out.
Vonico. what?
yeah.
So anyway, there's
Watch
that.
out.
That's hilarious.
So anyway, so that's the story of the name.
Yes.
And the reason that I added to my book and things that I'm posting online is because if you ever Google Victor Johnson, I mean, there'll be a million of them
Yes.
pop up.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
this just gives me my own lane. So, and as far as my parents, so Valerie Lewis, I'm sure she's watching right now. She probably posted 16 messages since we've
Valerie.
been live. But
Hello,
Valerie,
Miss Valerie.
Yes.
she is a beautiful woman, wonderful
That's
woman.
awesome.
She spent a lot of time dancing and modeling.
Oh.
In Japan in the
She knows the
80s,
secret
and
of you.
she speaks fluent Japanese.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
She's as blackety black as they come. You know, grew up in San
I love
Francisco,
it.
I love
California.
it. I love it.
She's
And proud of it,
just
too.
a very unique woman.
I
She
love it.
loves helping people. She loves animals. She loves
Oh,
people. She loves
thank God.
traveling.
Love
so,
it.
So there's that, and she raised me with my grandmother, Pearlie Mae Anderson, who's no longer with us in San Francisco. My dad was in my life for sure, but you know they didn't stay together.
Okay.
And then now my dad, Ernest Victor Johnson, he probably is also tuned in. He's
Hello,
turned
Mr.
85
Victor.
years old here
Oh.
recently.
Oh, wow.
And
Congratulations.
he's had some health challenges, but thankfully,
Mm-hmm.
I still get a chance to get a text message or a call from him every day.
I'm so
letting me
glad.
know
Oh, that's
how
awesome.
he's
Thank God.
doing. So thanks, Pop, for
That's
hanging
awesome.
in there. But
Precious.
he's had a great history of his own. He served in the Air Force. He's worked in the post office. He's retired as an educator.
Awesome.
He got his master's at 60. So he's always raising the
See?
bar for us,
See?
you know.
Yes.
And he just
Amen.
continues to,
Never
teach
too
about
late.
history, teach about how you can learn more about yourself by researching, your past.
Your
and
past.
he does genealogy, so he's
Awesome.
helped find a lot of our family members. So
Awesome.
those are my parents.
I
I didn't
love
grow up
that.
the traditional way where they were both in the house and we had the white picket fence and all that.
But that's
But they
okay.
were both
They were
very
both
much
there.
involved in my life. Yeah.
And the
That-
siblings you have?
Yes, I have there's a total of 9 of us.
Oh, my
Oh,
Lord.
that's awesome.
Yeah, all from Mr. Victor Johnson. So yeah. Thanks, Pop. So, and I
thank
love all
you.
my siblings. Yeah,
That's
they're
right.
we affectionately say we've got the New York kids.
Yeah.
We got the Cali kids. I'm part of
Okay.
the Cali kids and the Atlanta kids, and we all communicate and we're all good,
Good.
and everybody's doing wonderful. And so yeah, I got some great siblings as well.
And you the number out of
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm probably
9?
number 5 or
You're
somewhere in
5?
there. Somewhere probably
Okay.
number 5
Somewhere
or
in
4.
there?
Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, now tell us
crazy.
a little bit about your beautiful wife.
Oh, Latasha Johnson.
yes,
I love my
met her.
wife.
She's very sweet.
Yes. She is a real estate agent, of course, here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Congratulations.
Born and raised.
Well, we just have another one right here, too.
Of course. She's born and raised in Atlanta.
Very
and
good.
It's a beautiful family. I love all of my
Wonderful,
married
wonderful.
family members. And we have a daughter that we blended our families together. So I brought 3
Okay.
kids, and,
Okay.
and Ty is the youngest. So I've had a chance to
Wonderful.
raise her from 9,
Awesome.
and they're all in their 20s and beyond now. So I'm older than I look, Alexandra. But I love my wife. She's,
awesome.
one of those folks that really just helps a lot of people.
Good.
That's what
She's,
it's about.
She's
Love
a
that.
That's what
person
it's
that
all
everybody's calling like, hey, can you help me solve this? Can you help me do this?
Yeah.
And she just is a really beautiful person inside and out. And I'm
love
fortunate to
that.
have her in my life.
Well,
Very
that
fortunate,
is
yes.
so
That's
much.
what-
You know,
that's
it's,
what
that's
I'm
what it's
talking
all
about.
about.
Yeah.
It's
That's
just,
what I'm
you know,
talking
as we
about.
sit here and talk,
Awesome.
this is what our podcast is about: life,
Yes.
health, wealth,
Wealth
and
and
love.
love.
I love it.
And we talk. We don't. You look at a podcast. You're in a little room, and we talk about life and
Real
and
stuff.
and you bring the heart of the people, and you bring the ambience of the person,
Yes.
and that's what
Yes.
it's all about.
love it.
And they get to know you a little bit better. That
Yes.
gosh,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't, where you came from, what your family's about,
sure.
and how you got your middle name.
So there were some
Yeah.
secrets revealed already
I
today.
know,
So
yeah.
Alexandra knew. She knew what she's doing.
I love
Yeah,
it. I
yeah.
love it.
Well, so where did you end up going to college?
So I went to college, to a junior college in Atlanta.
Okay.
It was just a community college, DeKalb
That's all right.
College, and so that was it. That was it.
That's all you need.
I
You
have
did.
never
That's all you
stopped
need.
learning. I'm a voracious
Always.
reader like my dad is, and I've had a lot of experiences, and I've had a
Right.
chance to really get out. And even, it's funny, it's ironic how your life experiences and the things that you learn,
Right.
you can go back to college, and
At any
teach some
time.
college
At any
students and
time.
do things. So,
Yes.
but I've continued to develop in multiple ways. So,
Well, I want to tell you that you're amazing. I mean, I cannot tell you that how proud I am when I read your bio a little bit, and I thought, oh my gosh, how much you have invested of your life
Yeah.
back to the community, which is very, very
Yes,
good.
ma'am.
I love how he goes, as I went. See, people don't want to recognize that. you learn as you go.
Yeah.
As you go.
Yeah.
Because we don't know everything.
Right.
That's right.
We don't supposed to, but I love when he says, I learned that as I got into that. I learned
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's the way
That's
it
it.
should be.
Yeah.
Because I love how you said,
Mm-hmm.
I bought 2 houses in one day.
I did.
Share that.
Yes.
Share that.
Yes.
Bought 2 houses one day. Tell them about
so,
that.
in May of 2018, my wife and I had been part of a community of other real estate investors. And so we got some properties sent to us. We vetted, we did the research, and they were both actually, one was in San Antonio, one was in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And on my lunch break, I had 2 mobile notaries come to our house, closed on one property. 30 minutes later, the notary had the other documents, and we closed on the second property. And it was the first time I ever did anything like that. Like, man, I just bought 2 houses. Like, God, it's so good.
And they were
to
not
be
even
able
close to you.
They were in different states. I was in Dallas. One house is in San Antonio. The other's in Atlanta or Smyrna. And we bought these 2 rental properties on my lunch break, and I went back to work.
Yeah,
Well, you had to, right?
Yeah, I had to go.
But I love it. I love how
do
you
things
shared that. I
yeah.
love that
Yeah.
as he went.
So as you started your life and you started giving back into the community, when did you start going to the you have become such a name. You're a name brand now.
Thank you.
About motivation. And when did you start actually doing this, getting back to the community in your words and giving
Right.
your words out to the people?
Well, I have to take it back to actually 16 years old when I was living in California still, and I was part of a group called the Omega Boys Club. This is why I mentor so
Omega.
much, because
That's so
I had a
good.
young man, Dr. Joe Marshall, who still, he sent, for the last 35 years, he sent hundreds of kids to college
Yeah,
and
I
mentor
love
youth.
it.
So he challenged me at 16 years old to go into juvenile centers at that time and talk to young people about, hey man, when you get out of here, come up to the boys club. And they feed us,
good.
we play
Excellent.
basketball, they
So
teach us
good.
about history, we read a lot, they help us with our homework. So I got introduced to speaking in public at that time.
Wow.
Fast forward through all of my careers, I've always been the one to kind of speak in front of the groups and do the trainings and a lot of those type of things there. But in 2018, when I released this book, of course, you write a book, people want you to come out and speak about your book. So in 2018, that was when it really kind of kicked off. I started going to a lot of colleges. Dallas College has been a great partner of mine to come in and speak to their male achievement program, of course, the school districts and whatnot. But I just love motivating people.
Excellent.
And somewhere around in 2020, I went full throttle, and I said, I got to get out here and really push myself out there. And I have a lot to offer. I love around the meeting places so many motivational words, and that's what I do. I like to motivate and inspire people and encourage people to take action towards the things that
that's
they
the
want.
word
Not just,
right there.
not just get
That's the
inspired
word.
and all motivated
That's
and
the
whole
word.
but put it to work.
Yes.
And stop sitting on the sidelines.
Yes.
And I just enjoy that, and I like to help people to take an idea and get inspired. Man, if this guy can do it, I
can I.
certainly can do it. And then maybe give them some technical steps on how they can get started. you know?
Yes, I love how you said that, because that fear.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah.
But you help them recognize that that's just a
Yes.
threat.
Yes.
The fear is threat. That's all.
That's what it is.
And also when I want to jump to something else in reference to helping the Black community for the housing and
Yes,
stuff.
yes.
Do you go to certain areas over certain areas? I'm sorry, that you speak to reference to the Black community to help them
Yes.
find homes. I love that. Can you
I am
stress that
everywhere.
more for me?
So I'm assigned technically through the bank to work
Okay.
Dallas, Fort Worth,
Okay.
as well as East Texas. So you're talking about Tyler, Palestine, Jacksonville. I'm all up in through those areas working at chambers, churches, schools, community centers, anywhere that I know that there is an opportunity to help people to become homeowners.
That's
And
awesome.
It's important to me, and I know you know
do
this,
that,
like
yeah.
it is the most proven way that the average person can really build wealth for their family.
That's
It's
really
through
true.
those monthly mortgage payments.
That's right.
Part of that's your money that
Yes.
you're building and helping your family to grow. And I learned, and I've been lately talking a lot about my grandmother, Pearlie Mae Anderson, who was a nurse in 1961, bought a house for like $21,000 in San Francisco.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Is that-
She kept that house until she passed in 2017. And of course, that home, the equity that was built up, I mean, that house was valued at nearly $1 million when
Wow.
she passed from $21,000. So the importance of teaching the Black community about
Yeah.
home ownership
I love that.
is because that demographic, unfortunately, is the lowest percentage of homeowners in the nation.
If
You
they need
know,
to reach you, what can they reach you?
Oh, you can reach out to me on personally at bethevictor.us, bethevictor.us,
Okay.
or they can reach me at victor@bethevictor.us as far as email. goes.
Okay.
Yes.
Very
Thank you.
good, very good. Victor, there's a couple of things that I really like about you is that you're very centered, that you talk to everybody the same way when we're talking about business. And as you deal in the business world, in your projection of what the society of today is, what do you see as we move forward in the business world, especially in the home resale type? What do you see on the young people? Because I see more and more young people do
Good
not want it.
question.
They don't want to buy homes because
Yeah.
that's becomes
Yes.
what? A
It's
responsibility.
a responsibility. It's a commitment.
question.
It's a commitment. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what do you see as you, because I speak to so many, I go out, do you know, I started my license number is 01.
Okay, nice.
Okay.
Okay.
What is yours?
I don't know. I'm not a real estate agent. My
you're-
wife's here,
so
but
01
she's the
is my
agent.
license.
01,
Okay.
okay. Wow.
I used to knock on doors, and
Yeah,
I still
yeah,
do.
yeah.
Maybe every month I take one whole block or two, and I still knock on doors.
Nice.
Oh, wow. That's
That's-
great.
And I just found a couple of clients.
That's
you
why
know,
you're
I'm in
successful,
commercial.
Alexandra.
Yes.
I'm successful. Well, but the thing about it is, my whole thing is, I teach people not only to buy, I teach them to own.
Yeah.
Because buying and owning are two different things.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
own something, but you don't have the pride on it. But if you buy it
Yeah.
and own
Own
it,
Yeah.
then what happens is your grandmother did it.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's
You-
it.
Yeah.
It became so today's young people or the world of today is, I want to buy, flip, I want to go, I don't want to buy, I don't want the responsibility.
right.
But also they have to understand that there's responsibilities that go with that. And that's what I
Yes.
teach is
Yes.
your credit score.
Absolutely.
How to
Yeah.
save $1.
Yes.
My mother used to say $1, spend 1 penny and save 98 cents.
There you go.
You know?
Wow.
And that's how we live. I'm a Jewish woman, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
we
there you
lived a
go.
very stringent way. But today, as I see you and you're moving forward, and the 3 young men we had here from the Paul Queen College.
I missed it.
One
I
was
hate
from
that.
San Francisco and was
Wow.
starting to be a lawyer.
Oh,
and I said, you
nice.
sit here, I'm watching you, and I'm thinking, what do you see as a young man? You're
Yeah.
very young still. What do you see moving forward on the real estate or any kind of business?
Right.
What do you see?
Well, my message is exactly yours. It's ownership is really the way that you can navigate through all of the variety of
Right.
financial ups and downs, the different, administrations that come in and out. Ownership is still ownership. I mean, my grandmother again owned that house for 50 years or 60 years, and how many different, political terms did we go through there?
Exactly,
And the
exactly.
ownership piece never changed.
That's right.
Whether it's a business or whether it's
Yep.
real estate. And
yes.
my thing about young people, maybe you don't want to buy a house to live in, but you certainly need to buy one to invest in.
To invest in,
And
yes.
you can have your tenants making the payments, so you don't have to
Ownership.
feel so committed and stuck to, how will I make the payment? Well,
Work.
you've provided a great property for your tenants. Don't be a slumlord. Take care of the property and keep the upkeep
Absolutely.
going, but that is
Absolutely.
a way for you to build wealth because they're making the payments. Every month, the principal balance is going down. The value is going up. The difference between the two is what you get to keep as the owner.
That's right.
And so that is critical. Credit becomes a very critical part of that.
Credit
You
is
cannot,
So important.
Important.
yeah, and that's part of what I'm doing with
Yes.
these workshops is teaching
Yes.
people.
That's
I'm
what
a
I do.
FreddieMac Credit Smart Certified
I've seen that.
Facilitator. So basically that means I'm
Yes.
just able to teach people about how to improve their credit scores, how to manage those credit scores. And whether you want to, there's a lot of even older generation people that want to say, oh, well, I don't need any credit. I got all this money in the bank. But
you
credit
do.
is a testament of character.
Yes.
The certain jobs you can't even get without a good credit score. You can't get insurance, security system for your house. You're going to run your credit.
Absolutely.
And definitely, if you want to get a mortgage to help you with purchasing a home, you've got to have good credit. So, to young people,
Yes.
please think
Please.
ownership. And if you're doing even social media, you're posting online, you're creating content, do it the right way. Copyright your stuff, trademark your stuff,
Yes.
and that is ownership as well. So don't just take
Absolutely.
it lightly. It is super important. And 20 years from now, you'll thank us for this conversation. Trust me.
Oh, I
Well-
love it because it's not always about the hustle.
Right.
The kids want to hustle, hustle, hustle. They want microwave lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
Instant.
Nah.
No. It's a step at a time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything that you do in life.
Yeah.
I had to learn that too.
Absolutely.
know?
We all do.
So
Yeah.
thank you for
And
that
anything
advice.
sustainable, it's gonna take time.
It's gonna take
If you got it
time.
quickly, it's probably gonna go away quickly too. So
Yes.
you want to build something, and
Yeah.
you don't want to skip the process of the learning, the mistakes.
say it again?
To be able to bounce
The
back.
learning.
You know, my buddy
Yes.
CB Phillips might be listening. He always
Learning.
says, "We don't take losses, we take lessons."
Yes, we
you know,
take
you gotta
lessons.
learn even from
Yes.
those setbacks because they're all
Yes.
probably leading to something even better.
That's
that you
right.
don't know.
Yes.
And also save.
Please
Save.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
a lot of people live beyond their
Means.
means,
This is
and
true.
it's not. And
This is
it's
true.
it's a lot of fun to live beyond your means. But you know, the more and more I sit down with, you know, every week with my clients, and you know, they don't understand that. You know, I'm very frugal.
Absolutely.
I'm very
Smart.
frugal
Yeah.
because I always think about if what would happen if I'm by myself and something happens, who's going to take care of me?
Yeah.
But I still like quality.
For sure.
So I learned how to. Everything has to be quality
There you
and exceptional. But in today's world, you see the very young or the older, they don't balance up.
Yeah.
Because they live beyond their means. And so credit is overloaded,
Mm-hmm.
and you're a financial advisor, correct?
Well, not the advisor, but I'm a consultant.
A
on it.
consultant.
Yes,
So what
yes,
do you
yes.
tell the people? What do you do about this? What do
Well,
you tell them?
listen, and that's why the book is important. I'm not
That's
trying
well,
to pitch
I'm
the
going
book,
to,
but
well, I
know
was
in the
just
book,
going to
yeah.
see. I'm asking you these questions because
Thank
I
you.
read a little bit about your book. So
Yes.
this is a very, very eloquent book, and
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see that.
Well, unfortunately, Alexandra, I wasn't as disciplined with my finances coming out of high school and through college.
I don't
and
think
all.
none of
I
us
was,
was.
I was
No,
just
no,
burning
I don't-
through
I
it as
mean,
quickly as it
of
came,
course,
and you know, I learned, and I was over leveraged with credit, and
Yeah.
of course, because of that, now I'm paying the higher interest rates and all these things. And how do you build when all of your money is going to pay for bills?
For bills,
Right. And so eventually I learned that. But in the book, I talked about how I went from a 510 credit
Yeah.
score, which you can't do anything with, and how we were able to get into the 700s and ultimately buy real estate and start investing.
Start investing.
And, you know, it really is a discipline. And what happens is you have to be willing to say, I'm not worried about what anybody else thinks about me.
Absolutely.
I am focusing
Will you
on
say
the
that
future
again?
version of myself.
Will you
I mean,
say
really,
that
because
again?
you know, and I look back at
Yes.
when I was 30 and I was making great money and all that,
Yeah.
but I was burning through it as quickly as it would come in, and I'd be broke
Absolutely.
before the next payday.
Yeah.
You know, and it looked like I had this great life, but the Victor Johnson that's here today is pissed off that he didn't save money at 30 years old.
Don't
like,
be.
Because I mean, well, I was saving, but not to
Yeah,
the
don't be.
capacity that I could have. And
Now
so,
you get to share with somebody else. So don't be.
absolutely. So parents, family members, if you got kids coming out of high school, college, get this book because
Yeah.
it's going to teach them life skills, not only about the financial piece, but career advancement, how to nurture relationships, because
Awesome.
really there's a relationship score as well. And
Absolutely.
the lower your relationship score is, the harder life will be for you. I'll say that again. The lower your relationship score is, and I'm not talking about, well, I know you, so what are you going to do for me? But the
Right.
people that you add to your circle and you add value to
Yes,
them, that's going to
yes.
make your life tons of easier than it could be.
Absolutely. I'm learning
Yes.
that more
Yes.
than anything.
Yes.
It's my relationship with who's around me,
Yes.
who works with me.
Yes.
I find it.
Yeah.
I find it very important
Yeah.
that my love always shows.
And
I
but,
respect them in every level.
Absolutely.
but having said that, Victor, there's something very important that
Mm-hmm.
the relationship has not to be you have to make sure it's not toxic either.
This is true.
Because
Absolutely.
that's very important. Because when
Yeah.
you get into surroundings that are toxic,
Yeah.
your whole relationship becomes not a relationship anymore.
Absolutely.
Becomes a situation.
Yes.
So you have to learn as an adult and as a young person. To me, it's relationships are everything.
Yes, they
they're
are.
everything. But you have to understand that there's relationships that you have to they become toxic
Yes,
and
they
becomes
can
part of
be.
they becomes takes away from your
Yes.
from your family, from
Yes.
and your own children, your own surroundings.
Very true.
So I always think about things as we move forward in life that, and we also have to enjoy our life,
Mm-hmm.
and that's participate in life, join the community, give back to the community, be part of the younger people,
Yeah, I love
and
the
help
young
those
people.
elders that don't have, that
Yes.
maybe go and read a book to them, maybe teach them financial, because
sure.
older people need financial
Oh,
advice
yeah,
also.
they love when we come out and
I
dance
mean,
for them.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, they love when we come
Nice.
out and dance at the centers.
Yeah.
They love it.
No,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
very
And
And
important.
they
I
need
think
financing. They need
Yes.
financial advice. I mean, I've got a lady right now that she's in her 80s. She wants to buy a house.
Wow, there you
Okay.
go. Yeah.
It's never too late.
Never too late.
It's
But
never too
you know
late.
what? And I'll go back and look, and she's got excellent credit. And
Yeah.
how did you? She
Or
said,
save some money,
Save
you
some
know,
money.
yeah,
But she always told me her parents advise her, be sure that you always own something.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
whether it's a little
Yeah.
bit of stock, a little bit of jewelry,
Absolutely.
or a little bit, and she's buying a house and she's 80 years old. What she's
Very
going to do? She's
beautiful.
going to lease it out. I said,
Absolutely.
who's going to lease it for you? She's, of course I am.
There you go.
So
And relationships are big because we are more a result of the people that we spend our time with, and even the
Yes.
books we read and the podcasts we listen to. I saw somewhere, I can't remember who the speaker was, but he said, "Look, you could be the healthiest person, but if you start hanging out with 5 people who smoke cigarettes every day,
You're gonna
it
end
won't
up
be
smoking.
long before you're smoking cigarettes." I mean, just because we're influenced by the people that we spend our
what
time
is
with.
there's a saying, tell me who you run around with, and I'll tell you who you are.
There you go. How about
That's
that?
what my mother
There you
always
go.
used to
That's
say.
it.
Tell me who
Absolutely.
you hang around with, and I'll tell you who you are. Let me see your list of your friends.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely.
Well, Victor, it's an exciting day to have you here today. We're at the meeting place where you can look out the windows
Yes, beautiful.
and gosh, it brings all the wonderful parts of God out
does,
there
it
and brings you
does.
in, and
It's a
beautiful
blessing.
library and wonderful people you're watching.
Yes.
So let me ask you a question. This book that you started writing, what drove you to write this book?
I love that story. So in 2018, after I
Okay.
bought those 2 properties on my lunch break,
I love that.
I posted on Facebook about it, right?
Okay.
And I remember my sister reaching out to me like, "Bro, what is going on in Dallas? What are you doing out there?" And she said, "Can you talk to me and a few of my friends about how we can get into rental property investing?" And I think we did 1 or 2 Zoom calls, and I could tell that there were some that had credit challenged, others didn't have enough money saved, others was just scared to death
Yeah.
about even getting involved with it, and most of them and everybody just wanted to know the steps. And after those calls, I realized, I kind of went through all of that.
Okay.
I had to get my credit together. I had to get some money together. I had to figure out the steps. I had to overcome the fear. And I said,
Absolutely.
I think I can impact more people just by putting it in a book as well.
Okay.
And I have a niece who has a publishing company, Tierra Destiny Reed, and I told her, "Look, I want you to publish my book. No
Awesome.
discounts. Look, I want to put money into your business, and you help
Awesome.
me put a quality product out there." And we released. I literally wrote the book in 6 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
6
you-
weeks.
you was focused.
It took longer to publish it than it did for me to actually put it, because I knew exactly
What you were gonna
what
do.
I
Wanted
wanted
to
to say.
share.
I put the
That's awesome.
chapters together. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go through the timeline of how things went, and I started telling the stories in there and gave some real live examples of things that I was going through and how I got there. And it has proven to be, from the feedback that I gotten, not only motivational but educational and actionable.
That's
It's
good.
something you can actually take actions to.
That's
So,
good.
and I actually did my own audio book, Alexandra. So,
Well,
my
good.
friend
We have to.
Charles Honeycutt has a studio in Atlanta.
In Atlanta?
And I recorded. It's harder than you think
Oh.
to record an audio book because your energy has to stay up. You start to wane after a couple hours. So he's like, "All right, we're gonna
I
cut it
bet.
there, and tomorrow come back, we'll start over." But we recorded the audio book, and you can get that at bethevictor.us. The book Proven Pathways is available on Kindle.
Okay.
All of the
Very good.
major
Awesome.
Amazon, all of the
Can't wait to
major
read it.
sites.
And
Awesome.
will you, if we ever have a book signing for you, would you be there and we'd
I
sign a
would
lot
be
of
there.
books?
Absolutely.
Well,
and thank you,
like,
Rob Bliss, for putting my book up there in the meeting place. It's one of the thousands
Yes,
of books that he
yes,
has
yes.
displayed here. And so
Yes,
thank you so
it's
much, sir.
amazing.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Well, so Victor, let me just bring back to the book. One of the things that I noticed in that book as I was reviewing your book,
Mm-hmm.
your passion
Yes.
The passion.
Good
Yes.
question.
Your passion is powerful. It overflows even on LinkedIn. I mean, it
Wow.
overflows, you know.
Thank you. Yes.
It does.
Thank
It's
you.
really good.
What instilled you so much that as you growing up, of course you had good parents behind you,
yes.
but there was something else. What was it?
Wow.
What brought you to that level? Because from what I read from about you, you have this victor inside of you.
Yes,
It's about victory.
Yes,
The
yes,
victory.
yes.
That's
Everything
good,
that you
Alexandra.
do
That's
is
good.
victory, and,
It
and I
is.
love victory.
like
and I
that.
think, yeah.
I like that.
So I want to know because I want to see the passion. I love to see people with passion.
Yes,
I'm a
Yes.
very
Yes.
passionate person.
Yes,
I mean,
yes,
I love the feel of it. When you see some, but I want to see people develop that. Say, oh my gosh,
Yes,
I want to
yes.
live. I want to get out. I want to
Right.
walk. And
Yes.
you're passionate in writing this book, as I was reading the reviews of it. I mean,
Thank
you're
you.
getting,
Thank you so
what,
much.
with your youth and your life.
It's kind of like a gumbo of things, right? It's my parents poured into their seasoning. Pearlie Mae Anderson, my grandmother, poured into it.
Yeah.
The people that I spend my time with, I am Lion of the Year. So
Yeah.
this group, King's Accountability
Well,
Group,
we want
is,
to talk.
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about that in a
about
moment.
that,
But,
yeah.
Yeah.
but I think it's a combination of things. It's my
Yeah.
wife, Latasha. I get
Yeah.
inspired. My beautiful kids. I got
Yeah, that's
Dejendi,
awesome.
I got Jasmine, I got Jari, I got
Wow,
Ty,
awesome.
Wow.
I got Yasmin, my little granddaughter, and
Awesome.
Amir, whose birthday is soon. But
I love it.
family pours into me.
Yes.
But I take a lot of pride in the people that I spend my time with. I read a lot of books, and I guess I'm just passionate about life. There's
Okay, that's what I
tons of
wanted to
people
hear.
that woke up dead today.
Look,
I know.
Say
You
that again.
Yeah, I mean, they
Dead-
woke up dead on the
dead.
other side of this
That's
thing
it.
today. And
That's it.
it's just a great, I wake up every morning before I even get out to bed and I'm thinking, what are 10 things that I'm grateful for just the last 24 hours?
Excellent.
Yes.
And sometimes they're grandiose things. Like tomorrow morning, it'd be like, man, what a grateful
Yes.
opportunity to be on Alexandra
Yes.
and
Oh,
Friends.
thank you.
But some days
We're
it's
honored.
like,
We're
I'm
honored to
grateful
have
that
you.
I
Yes.
made it home through the grain and the crazy
come
drivers
on
today.
now.
Like I'm
Yes.
just happy about life. And
Yes.
I think
It
that,
is. That's what it's all
Just
about.
the little things, right, Victor?
it's
Just the little things.
It doesn't have to be anything great. And
Yeah.
I get inspired by the young people that I get to mentor and to go into a grocery store and have somebody, hey, Mr. Victor, hey
Yeah.
man, thank you for
I
the
love
suit
that.
that you guys got me at the,
Love that.
Isn't that
those
wonderful?
type
that.
of things
Preparing them-
make my
preparing them for
life
greatness.
very great. And
That's wonderful.
I'm just happy to be here. You
Well,
know?
as you're saying that, 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, I moved from, I was at 660 The Answer, and I started moving out. And what caught my attention about the meeting place, which was Purple Cow Branding Studio,
Yeah,
which I
at
still
that
love the
time,
Purple
yes.
Cow Branding, was meeting Rob.
Yeah,
Rob Bliss.
Yes, yes.
Because I never seen somebody that has as much life as I do. Because I mean, his
energy is
he's
contagious,
superb.
yeah.
And I remember just walking up and down the halls to go to the
Metroplex?
Metrocrest, which was Farmers Branch Metrocrest.
Yeah.
Farmers Branch
got
Metrocrest.
you. There's a difference, yes.
Farmers Branch Metrocrest. Okay. And he was always, da, da, da,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
energy. And I always thought, I bet you that man doesn't have to get up in the morning, doesn't think about doing the grass or he just thinks about life.
Right, right.
He
Just
thinks
happy to
about
be there.
life.
Yeah, yeah.
And doesn't plan anything. He just gets out there and does it. So I would come up in the morning. I didn't know him from Adam and Eve, know?
Right.
And he would, when I would see him coming over to the Pocket Sandwich Theater when I was doing a show, or we were doing some shows at the Old House Barbecue, and he would show up. And I thought, what an amazing man, okay?
Yeah.
So if everybody could take some vitamins from Rob Bliss.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's the man.
I mean,
Yes.
he is the happiest. I don't know what time he gets here, whatever time he gets
Yeah.
here to the end of the day, and his attitude is so. Last hour, he's always so, and he's
Yeah.
always showing everybody the books of everybody
Absolutely.
else. But his heart. So I asked him. I
Yeah.
said, "Would you sponsor us?"
Right.
Just I'm just very plain. I
Yeah,
mean,
might as well.
Hey, I would sponsor
get
at
what you
660
don't
The
ask for.
Answer,
That's
and
it.
I'm always sponsored. I said, would you sponsor us? He looked at me real funny. He said, yeah. I think
like
he
that.
thought,
There you
he
go.
thought, okay, we'll move in.
Right.
But his attitude, he
Yep.
brings that inside of you. And so
Yes.
when I said I want to start our podcast here, and we have brought so many guests, in the year that we've been here, almost 2 years.
2 years.
2 years,
It's
yeah.
been
2
2
years?
years we've been under
Our
the house.
guests have been from all walks
Mm-hmm.
of life.
Yes.
But I want to tell you, some of the guests, if I could not tell you, well, if I'm going to say this, Rob always brings that little sparkle into
There you
my
go.
life, because sometimes I leave here did I do the right thing?
Right,
Have I had the
right,
right
right,
guess?
right.
But Rob brings that life, and I think that's as I watch you,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of him back there, thinking, wow.
Yes.
How many of us are in that type of life? And I wish more people could be in that level
Yeah.
of life.
And it's such a small thing to be able to touch
Yeah.
somebody in a positive way,
Yeah.
and to have the right attitude about it. And,
Yes.
you know, the word that I like to use is edify. Like, let's
Edify.
edify each
Edify.
other. And then the rest of the world edifies you. You know, and we're here to serve. And we're
That's
not here
all.
to just chase and
That's
go
all.
after and grind.
And
right,
opens
you
the
know?
doors for many people. And
Yes.
that is the biggest thing. That door
Yeah.
opens the doors,
Yep.
and we have G and the new
Yep.
the young people
Andy.
that come here,
Yep.
Andy, but all the other young people that have come through here.
Yeah.
Gosh, Victor,
Yeah.
this is an amazing, just an amazing podcast, because we're talking about life.
We're talking about life.
And just the futures of what you see in the future. Now, tell me a little bit. You're at the bank.
Yes.
People can actually, clients can come and sit with you and discuss.
Yeah, so my job is a beautiful role.
Okay.
Right? You
Tell us all about that.
because, you know, your gift will make room for you.
Yes.
Right. And I was doing this education as a full-time entrepreneur, financial literacy, teaching people about the power of real estate
Yes.
and ownership, entrepreneurship. And I was doing fine, you know, doing pretty well. And someone came across me and said, hey, you know, Prosperity Bank wants to do more connection with the community.
Okay.
And they're looking for somebody who has that vibrance, that
Okay.
ability to do what you're doing. Would you be interested in speaking with their
awesome.
leadership team? And, you know, I met with them, and it's been a beautiful opportunity for me to be able to pretty much do what I was already
Yes.
doing, except for now I've got a great bank behind me, the power to help people out, really. And so I
Excuse
don't
me,
even
you just
sit-
said something very
Yes.
important. You have a great what?
Bank. with
Where?
The power behind me.
Behind you. Is who is behind you or next to you?
Yeah.
You heard that.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
got a very powerful.
Absolutely. And they are very committed to supporting home ownership in all communities,
That's
right?
good.
But especially in the black community, they want to see
That's good.
everybody thriving. When the lowest of us rises, then
Rises.
we all rise, right? And
That's
so
right.
I don't sit in a banking center. I know I have an office in Plano, but I'm there a couple times a week, maybe for a few hours
Yeah.
to
You're
print
out
some
in the field,
flyers
like
or
right
make
there,
a couple
yeah.
calls, but I'm in the community.
That's
And
awesome.
My job is to get out and connect,
And
with,
connect
the
with the
people,
people.
and educate and find ways to make an impact. And I have a great leader in Belinda Everett. She's, you know,
I know
she's
Belinda.
she is my director, and I got
love
a
it.
team that does what I do in Austin, someone in Houston.
Yeah.
And we're working Texas as a team of 4 to help rise
Yeah.
the home ownership numbers in the black
I
communities.
love
And
it.
Very good.
It's a beautiful opportunity.
Are you finding that's where you're leaning more now at this time, along
Oh,
with the
absolutely,
youth? Are you,
yeah.
okay, so
Well,
you're
yeah, I
leaning
mean,
more to real estate.
I just got I have a
area?
lot to spend. So that's my full-time job.
Okay.
And I am definitely committed to that, right?
Okay,
But I also have a business
Yes.
that I can do in
Yes.
the evening, on
Yes.
weekends.
In the
And,
weekends.
you know, I have a team that helps me
Right.
put stuff out. So when I'm doing this
Exactly.
over here, they're
You're
doing
doing
that
something
over
else.
there. And, you know, I just want to touch as many people as possible. And
Right.
I get an opportunity to work with the school district. I'm very fortunate we have
I
a great
love it.
superintendent over there,
Yes.
Dr. Eldridge, and,
Dr.
and
Eldridge.
her team.
As a
and-
matter of fact, I
I've
think
met
we're
her.
going to have her here pretty soon.
Oh
too.
yeah,
I met her.
she's
She's
got to
very
come
nice.
here. Yeah,
Yes.
you know, and
Yes.
being able to work again with people that get it, you know, and I don't have to.
That's hard to get a lot
Yeah,
of people
well,
that get
because
it.
For me, at this stage in my life, I don't want to fake anything. I want to give you everything I got, and if you can use it, great. If you can't, then maybe we're not in alignment, and
No,
that's
it's
okay.
okay.
It's totally
It's okay.
fine.
It's okay.
I don't owe
It's
you
okay.
anything. You don't owe me
Exactly.
nothing, you know. But if I can
Yeah.
inspire you with something,
Yes.
let's do it. Let's put our heads together. Like even with this, somebody's watching that you've never met,
Yeah,
I've never
that's right.
met, but they're like, oh my God, I can do whatever it is that they've been hesitating to do
Yes.
because they're
That's
listening to this
right.
conversation.
That's right.
So that's all we're here to do is just impact in
And
any
you
way
know,
we can.
that's exactly one morning when I got up and said I wanted to start Alexandra. My husband said, but I said, I want to start a podcast.
Nice.
That was, 1921, 22. And
2021.
2021. Yeah. 2021. Yeah. But it's the impact that you make. It
Yeah.
might be one person only or two people, and I've met so
you
many
go.
wonderful people
Oh,
that go
yeah.
through here,
Met a lot
and
of
many
great people.
stories. And we got a star here that Miss
Amazing
Dorothy
woman.
Silva that was
Yes,
here
yes.
on our
Amazing
last
woman.
show, and I
Yes.
learned
Yes.
so much from that lady.
Me
you know?
too.
The
It's
healing
blessing.
The
lady, right?
healing
Healing
lady,
Yes.
and
There
the
you go.
and the
Yeah.
power of prayer
Yes.
for her,
Absolutely, yes.
and coming from another country, from England, and raised in Johannesburg, and you start
Wow.
thinking about this power things. But I could not have done it alone. We couldn't do it alone.
That's right. We could never do it
We left a
alone.
place, and I talked to Marshall. I said, Marshall, we need to grow.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here? And then she said, I'm stuck with you. Okay, I'm stuck with you. You know.
I just didn't think it was in me, Victor.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
This is something I didn't think I can do, and
Yeah, she kept telling me, I
wasn't
can't do it. I
thinking
can't do
about
it.
doing it.
Yeah.
And I
yeah.
can't
Because
do
I
it. I
was
said,
focused on my babies.
Yeah, and she kept telling me, I can't do it. I can't do it. I said,
Focus
yes, you
on
can.
my youth.
Yes,
I
you
focus
can.
on my
And
babies.
well, you're doing it.
You
You
know?
see,
Yeah,
and now you're doing
yeah.
it.
But
Yeah.
I said, you can do it. You can do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let her. I wouldn't let her go away. And I said,
Yeah.
you're going with me. And she says, I'm stuck with you. So here we are. But it is.
Yeah.
It's important to open
Yeah.
the doors and
Yeah,
give to the
that's
other
what it's
people
all
and-
about. I
really,
really
really
agree,
is.
and I love how Victor was saying how it takes a team, because it does take a team.
It
Victor.
does.
We in Memphis, we got a team down there.
Nice.
We're here in Dallas.
Yeah.
Then we got a team in New Orleans.
There you go.
So it takes a team that my daughter has to
Right.
deal with. The brother deals with a lot of different areas of reference of. So she don't have to be stretched so strongly.
Right.
But it does take a team.
It does. And don't be
yeah.
afraid. A true
Yeah.
leadership is where you're
Yes.
able to take the best parts of your team
Absolutely.
and let them run their
yeah,
thing. You
to
know
let
what I
them
mean?
do,
And
and let them,
Yeah.
see what they can do.
the most
within.
important part is, though, there has to be a very clearly defined
Fine.
goal. And let people put their expertise around the goal, and that's where your leadership
love
steps up. You got to be clear on what's the mission, and then don't feel like, well, I got to have my hands in that, or I
Yeah.
got to do this or that,
Yeah.
because you don't know the best way to do it
Exactly.
necessarily.
And and when you have to trust the person that's going to tell
Yep.
you, that's going to help you with that
Absolutely.
lead to the follow. Because I'm that way. I know where I want to go, and that's why I'm here, because I knew
Mm-hmm. Right.
that Rob would help me. I
Yes,
mean, you
yes.
do the things that you have to do. I'm in the real estate world. Have
Mm-hmm,
been always. I know my banker's the one's going to get me to the next loan,
Exactly.
and I know that the title company is going to be my closing company.
There it
So
is.
I knew when I asked Rob, would you sponsor me? Would
Yeah.
you? And he said yes. I knew that we were on the next step, because you've been with me since I left the radio station and come back. I wanted to be in the public. I wanted to be able to do this. I
Right,
wanted to be able to
nice.
bring people and talk
Yeah,
and
this
mention
is
and
great.
tell them how successful you are, because where you started and how you got there.
There you go.
And that was our mission. That has been our mission all the time. And
Yeah.
I love it. And I know where I want to go.
Yeah.
I know where we're going to go.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
but it takes leadership and
Yep.
commitment, and no matter how many struggles in between, you're gonna come to that end.
Absolutely, and stay open to learning
To
new
learning,
things, right? I
always.
mean, don't be afraid to stub your
So
toe
good.
on things and learn, because that's the best way to
Yes.
grow. I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah, you can get your book knowledge, but don't stop
So
learning.
good.
And I have this thing now where I'm like, I can't even go to bed at night unless I felt like I learned something, throughout that day. And I really want to share as much as I can with folks, and that's kind of where the whole Be the Victor Speaker
Yes.
Academy came.
Be
It's
the
like
Victor, very
people
well.
would reach out to me, say, "Man, I heard you speak, and just I felt your energy, and I appreciate you, Hester. You were talking about
Yes.
the essence of me, and I
Yeah.
don't really know. I'll just put that on God. I'm
Isn't that
just
wonderful?
being myself,
Absolutely.
but there are some key elements that you can teach people, and so I do work through some different programs and
Right.
strategies to teach people how to be an impactful speaker.
Impactful.
I love
because
that.
it's not even just about you wanting to get
Yeah.
paid, and we'll show you how to do that, but there are so many people sitting in an office room with a group of their peers, their
Yes.
coworkers, and they're not speaking up about this brilliant idea that they have in their head because I'm not comfortable speaking
not comfortable,
that, right?
yeah.
And
Right.
You're stalling your career advancement, one, and you could be hindering the company because you're afraid to speak up and have this brilliant idea, but I'm just not going to say anything.
They're not going to say
And
anything.
so I help
Yeah.
them build confidence
That's
around
good.
speaking
That's what it
up,
is.
and how to deliver presentations and things like that. And so
And how
I'm
to
really
lead.
proud of that.
And how to lead.
And how to
Leading
lead.
is very
Yes, That's a
important.
big part of
Yes.
it. Yeah.
That's
And
very
due to the growth of the AI world,
Yeah.
let's share
Yeah, let's go. Let's
before
go.
we getting ready to end
Yeah.
the show. Give me your opinion about what are the levels of now people can go online and get what they need to speak about, or what, what they can say or what they're trying to say, or to make the message more clear. Share the point of view of what you will bring with this new technology, or when you're doing education learning for speakers.
You can't get around it. I remember.
Can't go under it.
Yeah. I remember in 1995.
Can't go under it.
I was at my dad's house, like 20 years old or whatever, and my dad says to me, "Hey man, I just sent a letter to my friend in England." So what are you talking about? He got it within seconds. That was the first time we heard about the internet, right? And so imagine if you were a person that says, "Well, I'm not going to get involved with that whole internet thing. That's for those young people."
Come on.
And here we are 30 years later, and it has consumed your life.
Yes.
So it's the same with artificial intelligence. You cannot avoid it if you plan to continue to stay here.
That's right. Or stay on top.
Well, just period. If you are involved,
yeah.
I mean, you can live off the
Gotta
grid,
go.
and that's a fine life too. But if you plan to run a business,
That's
or
right.
run a household, or do anything with your finances, you've got to take at least the minimal elementary steps of learning it. And so for me, again, I bring people around me that have a little bit more expertise on it, and then
Got
I
that.
do my reading
That's
and
good.
research, and it is a big part of my business is to using AI and ChatGPT and other
Yes.
automation tools to help me to speed. Like, again, I have a full-time job, so there are things that I can do with automation that are happening while I'm out here doing my work, and it's still running my business.
What do you recommend for people to take classes or?
I don't even think you need a class. You can go to YouTube.
yeah,
You
and
can
just-
learn things. If you know somebody who's happening, or go on podcasts and listen to podcasts. Like you had a
No,
great
we did,
guest
yeah.
here,
Yes.
Kelly
And
Camp.
Ms.
we're
Camp
bring
gave
it
us a
back, yeah.
lot of
So
information about
you don't
it.
even have to pay to get this education.
Well,
It's
that's
out
good.
there.
No, it's out there.
But I'm a big YouTube University alum.
Oh, me too.
And so I make sure that I continue to type in and search for what it is that I want to learn, and that information is there.
I couldn't believe last night I went on there, and there's a tool that I can take my words from my music, because I'm a writer and producer. So I took some lyrics and put it inside of this tool. They created the track
Wow. See?
of my lyrics along with the singer.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
amazing.
Wow.
So now I can shop my lyrics and my songs that have been sitting in my folders for years.
Right.
And I can get on there and I can sing it. And they will create the music.
Yeah.
And then I can shop
Look at
it.
that. You see?
But sometimes I say, God, is that fair? I've been humping all my life
You
trying
know,
to find, what I'm
there-
saying?
it
But
is what it is.
It is what it
and
is.
that is why
It is
the
what it
playing
is.
field has been leveled.
Yeah.
Because some of this stuff you had to spend many years
Yeah.
in training. You had to go out and get your master's or doctorate to be able to write like this.
Yeah.
And now you can have it at least generated. Now, the word of caution is don't just take that and run with it.
Right.
Still add your own unique
Your own
voice
taste,
to this
yeah.
stuff and do this stuff. But
Yes.
speed up the process by here's an idea that I have, and I want you, I am an author or speaker, and this is what I want to convey.
Yeah.
Help me come up with a strategy for that. And it just helps to level the playing
level
field
the playing
and
field.
speed it up light years.
It'll take you out of that stuck mode.
This is a conversation that we must continue later on, because we're coming pretty much to.
We already knew we was going to have a
to-
good
we
time.
have like-
Jeez.
looks
All
like-
right, it's really comfortable. I was about to take my shoes off. Oh, God.
Hold on, don't take your socks off. Don't take your socks off, okay?
Exactly.
This is we're coming to
Appreciate it.
about
This is
the end of
great.
the show here. We got about a few more minutes left.
Yes.
So, as we wrap the show, I want you to leave us with your words that you want to take us to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see as we move forward on life and
Yeah.
and what do you contribute back to it?
Absolutely. Well, my mantra has always been create your future
self.
Right? Like everything that's happening today, the conversations, the people you speak to, the thoughts you think, the books you read, the workouts you do, the food you eat,
Yes.
it's creating the future version of yourself. And if you at least invest some time thinking about who is the person 10 years from now that I want to be, then you'll be more intentional about the activities that you take today. And I just really want to encourage people to think about that person, because God willing, you'll still be here, and you don't want to be further behind, than you could have been,
That's
if
good.
you would have been intentional about
Baby.
the things that you do, the people you spend your time with. And a friend of mine, I think you all know her, Dr. Marguerite Johnson.
Marguerite Johnson.
And
yes,
she
we
said,
know her.
Dr. Margarita Johnson, she says, when you're born, you look like your mother and your father.
Yeah.
When you die, you look like your habits.
Absolutely.
My God. She hit me
that
so
is-
hard.
it
She
hit-
told my youth group in the summer program, our Create Your Future Self youth program, that. And I've shared that and, of course, given her credit for it because
That's
that
true.
is just so powerful.
That is
We are
powerful.
more of makeup of the things we do every day than some big thing that happens in our life, right? Some life event that happens.
So good.
It's really more of the daily habits. So pay attention to your daily habits. Thank you all so much for the opportunity
thank
to
you
be
so
on
much.
this
It was
platform.
awesome.
This has been one of the funnest and most realist podcasts I've been on in my experiences.
Yes, we
Thank
like
you
to be
so
real.
much. I appreciate y'all so
I
much.
do.
Well, we have so many things to talk about.
Yes.
We will not be having a show at the end of
Yes.
May because we have Memorial
Right,
Weekend. So please, if you have a minute, if you know a soldier or a veteran that you can visit, or if you can go to the cemetery, please stop by. They
Absolutely.
really, they deserve our visits.
Yes.
And we'll give G a little vacation from us
Yes,
for the
yes.
weekend.
Great job,
So
G.
And
but
yes,
we
both
will
of
be
them.
back. We will be back on June 7th we will be speaking about mental health
Oh,
with a very wonderful lady by the name of Anita Cepeda, who is very well known in our area here. We will be talking about mental illness because I think it's very important. It's a very important
Yes.
subject,
Yes.
especially as we meet more and more people.
it's really sad.
It is a sad
Yeah.
situation that we need
Yeah.
to discuss mental illness.
Yes.
And Victor, thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
taking your
Alexandra.
time because I know you're busy time
Thank you.
to come and sit
Yes.
here with us.
Thank you so much.
And it's not the last time because we're going to come back and hopefully have a big book signing for
Let's
you.
do it.
And
Let's do it. I'm
gosh,
always
you know,
open.
wow.
Thank you.
Well, the door's always open here, right, Rob? I always say things and then I ask him.
Thank you.
I love
And
it.
Marshall, thank you so much for
Thank you.
done.
Thank you.
everybody has
Thank
a
you.
wonderful Memorial Weekend.
You too,
And
everyone.
do you mind if I ask you to close us out with a prayer?
Oh, that'd
Oh,
be
wow.
great.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would love that.
Sure.
I love it.
Thank
Let me
you
just
again.
say this real quick
Please.
about the sponsors.
Yes.
If you would like to sponsor us as well, come on in. We're looking forward to having more sponsors for the show.
And please like us on YouTube and Facebook and on any of our social media, but kind of sign up on YouTube. We really
Yes,
need that
please
because we
subscribe.
need to get subscriptions
Yes.
so we can get to the bigger level and go to the other higher level that we want to go to.
Yes.
Thank you again, Rob Bliss, for having us here. The meeting
meeting
place and
Smart USA.
Smart USA. Thank you so much. And thank you, Victor, for being here. And to all our guests that are here today.
Thank you,
We
guests.
want you
It's
to bring one
wonderful.
more guest because we're going to start a continental breakfast.
Yes,
Here
we
real
would love to
soon.
have you
Thank you
again.
so much.
Thank you.
So thank you, Victor.
Yes,
thank you
ma'am.
for being here. And my love to your parents.
Thank you so
Because
much.
they really
Yes.
have
Thank
an
you. To
amazing
your
young man.
family.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate
And thank you to
that.
Andy, who is our technical support here
Great job,
today,
Andy.
and to G for being our executive producer. Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, we can bow our heads in prayer.
Yes.
We will always want to come to you first, Father God, with a mindset of gratitude and thanks. We thank you for the opportunity to even be here today and to wake up. We thank you for those that have tuned in, whether in person or online, and hopefully they got something you were able to speak through us today in this conversation and inspire them to, hopefully take action towards something that will help them, their family, their community. We ask you to continue to protect us, watch over our nation, watch over our world, watch over our community. We ask that you continue to bless those that are, not as fortunate as we may be. And we ask you to continue to put blessings and angels and people in their lives that'll help them.
Yes.
We ask these things in Jesus' name.
In Jesus'
Shalom,
name,
Shabbat.
amen.
Amen.
And I
Thank
wish
you.
you all a very Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
Yes.
And don't forget to vote.
Yes.
Have a wonderful week.